For Hype Plus News, I'm John Alba. We've all heard of this saying that controversy sells, but it appears that may not always be the case. On October 17th, Jada Pinkett Smith would release her tell-all book Worthy, which included a noteworthy press campaign. Online, Pinkett would create several viral moments as she answered questions around her relationship with Will Smith, Chris Rock, Tupac, and more. Now that her Worthy memoir has finally hit stores, according to sources, the headlines her press tour received hasn't exactly led to the same exact excitement for the actual book. According to Daily Mail, Worthy hit the number 3 spot on Amazon's charts for the week of October 20th. This would put Worthy at the 20 most sold and most read books for that week. Now, according to that same source, Worthy's physical copies would drop to the number 81 spot as of Tuesday, October 24th, and drop 3 more spots to number 84 by Wednesday. And as this very writing, it sits now at the 94th spot on Amazon's bestseller for physical copies. That same source also noted that compared to Britney Spears, who received over 1,000 reviews for her memoir, just over 171 people had left a review for Pinkett Smith, even though Worthy was released about a week before. It is worth mentioning that it did, however, top the list of women's biographies. Now, overall on bookstore giant Barnes & Noble's top 100 of best-selling books, Worthy doesn't even exist at all. But when it comes to USA Today's best-selling books, we get maybe a more accurate understanding of where Worthy is, as it sits currently at the number 15 spot. According to USA Today, they base their list purely off of sales. USA Today collects sales data from booksellers representing a variety of outlets: bookstore chains, independent bookstores, mass merchandisers, and online retailers. Using that data, we determined the 150 top-selling titles of the week. The top 150 are published online Wednesdays at 6 a.m. USA Today's best-selling book list reflects combined sales of titles in print and electronic format, if available. The rankings reflect sales from the previous Monday through Sunday. Despite these sales rumors, Worthy still has a place on the New York Times bestsellers list. One top review gave Worthy 4 out of 5 stars and started off by saying they didn't want to like the book, but eventually warmed up to Jada and her story. Jada herself would take to Instagram to acknowledge the support and her place on the list. Now, in comparison to Will Smith's Will, interesting enough, when it was released in November 2021, in just 3 months after its release, Will made an Instagram post claiming that the book had already sold 1 million copies. We sold 1 million books, y'all. Damn, 1 million copies. Ha. Thanks, everyone. Also in April 2022, according to Forbes, it was reported that the week Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars, the book climbed up the bestseller charts once again. On the USA Today best-selling books, it would resurface to the number 73 spot after the award show incident. When the memoir debuted, it took the number 3 spot and remained on the best-selling books list for 15 weeks. Now back to the New York bestsellers list for Jada. For those who don't know, according to novalar.org, here are the requirements for the New York bestsellers list. The New York Times bestsellers list requires an author to make a minimum of 5,000 book sales, higher depending on the list, in a single week across diverse retailers and from multiple geographic locations. They have a proprietary way of analyzing sales data that is kept a closely guarded trade secret. While the lists are based on weekly sales data collected from retailers all over the United States, the retailers they target and how their data is used are not something the New York Times publicizes, and a lot of the final list placement is also based on editorial decisions rather than on raw sales data. The New York Times bestsellers list is not just one list, but rather several lists grouped by genre and format. This alone suggests that being on the New York Times bestseller isn't purely on your sales compared to the list over at USA Today. Now, as Worthy continues its sales trends in stores, there have been rumors circulating of both Will and Jada writing a book together as co-authors. I know Will and I are talking about writing a book together. I hope one day we can write a book together. The process that he's going through right now, I think would be so helpful to so many men. When asked about a possible title for the joint book, Pinkett Smith said, "Don't try this at home." As of now, it is unclear how many physical copies Jada would sell along with audio streams and download for Worthy. Let's talk about it more in the comments below. Are you surprised with Jada's Worthy allegedly struggling on book charts? And do you think her press campaign has something to do with it? Stay up to date for the latest news in comedy and culture by subscribing here to our YouTube channel and follow Hype Plus across all social media. For Hype Plus News, I'm Jada Pinkett.